Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure unboxing video, and today we are going to be cracking into the DXF superhero Goten and Trunks. Before we begin, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are enjoying the content. And I actually recorded this figure unboxing live. That's right. If you want to come by the live streams, I may do this again where I just crack into a bunch of figures on the live stream. So if you guys would like to be there for when I do this live, definitely hit that subscribe button, all that funny YouTube stuff. And let's go ahead and get into it. So obviously these guys are really cool because, of course, up until this point, right, we really have not had, I mean, we haven't even had a design for, I guess it would be technically teen, right? Trunks and Goten, or at least just like, not like really tiny, you know, Trunks and Goten, obviously, right? Like they kind of looked in the majority of Dragon Ball Super. Obviously in Superhero, they gave them the glow up design, and these are the first two figures of a said design, which is really cool because obviously it's nice that we even have figures of it at all, to be 100% honest with you, because this could have definitely been something I could have seen them like just kind of neglecting. But the DXF line, right, the superhero DXF line specifically, has been really good about giving us basically like a bunch of characters from the movie. So we are going to open up Trunks first, I think. So let me take Goten off the shelf. I wanted to do these guys as one video because I could have definitely done it as two, right, like easily, but I don't know, man. Like, you just can't have one without the other when it comes to, like, this Goten and Trunks, right? Like, future Trunks, sure, that boy can, you know, like, kind of do his own thing. But when it comes to Goten and Trunks, right, the two little gremlins, right, you gotta have them as a pair, so. All right. So let's go ahead and open them up. Now, I know that the quality of these figures might not be the most crazy thing ever, just because of the fact that it is the DXF line. And the DXF line has kind of fallen off a little bit in recent time, but from the pictures that I've seen of this guy, and actually looking at him in person, I am pleasantly surprised. This figure looks really good, if I do say so myself. Let's actually get him out of the bag. I was going to say I'll turn off the light, but I may as well just take him out of the packaging for you. Dude, the face on this guy looks really great, actually. So let's go ahead and take a look. He looks really good. Wait, I'm actually super impressed. I am not going to lie. I actually think he looks fantastic. The detail on the jacket is actually really nicely done. The folds on the pants look good, right? Even the detail on the shoes, right? I think all of that looks really nice, if I do say so myself. Wow. I'm pretty impressed. Even like the lines on like the vest, right? Because obviously it's supposed to be like a puffy vest. That's good. His hair sculpt as well also looks fantastic. They nailed it, I would say. Wow, I'm really impressed. This honestly, I think is better quality than the first couple, because we'll show later in the video the DXF Gohan and Piccolo from this same line. I actually think that this guy is even better than those, if I'm keeping it real with you. All right. Now, there is one disappointing thing about this guy, and the same thing will also apply to Goten, unfortunately. They do have a very cool base, right? They have this little, like, superhero logo base, which I actually really like this, right? But the problem with these figures, from the DXF line, in the modern day anyway, is that the pegs are on the bottom of the feet. So the reason why this stinks is because obviously if you tried to stand this up, right, it's not going to stand unless you put it on the stand, which is really unfortunate because the bottom of his feet look flat enough that if you like sawed off those pegs, right, you would probably be able to just get him to stand up normally, which is really unfortunate that it's, you know, I don't know, they kind of nerf it. Also, something else with the DXF line that I've noticed, the pegs don't line up. You can see there that the pegs don't actually line up properly. So what we're going to have to do is stretch his legs a little bit. We're going to put one peg in and then stretch his... Oh my gosh, that is a pretty big stretch. I'm not going to lie. There we go. Yeah, look at how much more stretched out that was than just like a little bit earlier in the video. Regardless, though, it does look very, very good on the stand, right? I would say no complaints from me, honestly. I'd say this is a banger of a figure. My only complaint, I think, with the DXF line as it is the fact that it's just really small. Like, these figures are the same price as all of the other, like, Bam Presto prize figures that we get nowadays that are, like, you know, like 2 or 3 inches bigger than these particular figures. It's kind of unfortunate, and I'm not sure why they made this line so small. Like, it was never the biggest line in the world, but it definitely wasn't this small, at least as far as I remember from owning some of the figures before. It was definitely a line that was always on the smaller side, but I don't think it was ever this tiny. So it is a little bit unfortunate because these are nice figures, but I think that these figures are maybe a little bit more worth like $15 rather than the basically like $27 that you're going to be paying to get one of each of these, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get the stand out for Goten. By the way, basically no difference, but something interesting to note is that it is like, it looks off-center on this one, like it was supposed to be in the center, but then it was put off-center on purpose. But this one looks like it was supposed to be in the corner, and it actually is. So let's see how Goten, right? How does Goten actually look? I do like the fact that they bubble wrapped his head. Obviously, when it comes to Dragon Ball figures, because the hair can be so delicate because of how spiky the hair is, it's always nice to see when they obviously give you a little bubble wrap. All right, the grand reveal. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Maybe. Oh, it's stuck on his spikes. Let me pull that off. There we go. That looks great. Oh my gosh. Wait, I'm actually super impressed by these. I'm not gonna lie. These are really good, dude. I'm actually super excited about this. So, I will say, I do think Trunks' face looks a little bit better than Goten's, if I'm being 100% honest with you, excuse me. I don't think Goten's face looks bad by any means. I think it doesn't help that he has, like, the kind of side-eye expression, because obviously then when you display him like this, it looks a little bit strange, but then obviously when you give him the angle that he's supposed to have, it looks a little bit better. The shading on the clothes is actually fantastic. Obviously, Bandai recently has kind of been notorious for really, like, just neglecting the shading. So it's actually pretty cool to see some shading on a modern-day figure, right? This looks really good. I like how it's obviously a little bit darker towards where, like, the buttons, I think is what that would be, right, are obviously there, and then like on the sleeves a little bit, right? Of course, classic Bandai move, they don't shade the back even though they shade the front, you know, that's just how they do it, unfortunately. Obviously the pants don't really have too much shading because of course they're already kind of dark, but they still do look good, right? And they actually did a very good job, I will say, sculpting, I was gonna say sculpting and cuffs at the same time. It turned into one word. Sculpting the cuffs of Goten's jacket, right? Or whatever this is actually, because I know this is definitely a Sun Family type of fit, but I don't know what it's actually called. By the way, the hair is immaculate as well. I will say, for the way that Goten's haircut looked in the movie, this is literally perfect. Wait a minute! I just noticed! Why did they shaft Trunks? You're telling me Goten can stand on his own? Without the stand? But what? Okay, I guess. That makes no sense. So you're telling me that the pegs here, they were able to put it on the stand just fine and not have it like inhibit the figure or anything like that, right? Even funny enough, the holes for Goten are even lined up better, right? If we want to just like stick him on there, he goes on there a lot easier and we don't have to stretch his legs. But Trunks, the holes for him are... Look at that. You can even see on the bottom, right? There's no nubs there, right? Because obviously there's no space for the holes to be there. But obviously on the bottom of Trunks's there is, because they have to have them there. All right. Well, that is the boys. Let's go ahead and grab some figures for a little bit of a size comparison. So as I mentioned before, These guys are relatively small, all things considered. Obviously, we bring out our usual Super Saiyan 3 Ichiban Kuji Gotenks and the WCF Blue Goku. You can see that especially right next to the WCF Blue Goku, these guys are pretty small, all things considered, right? Goku is basically half the size of Trunks and Goten, at least to the top of his hair, right? If we take a look at the measurement here, these guys stand at just about the 6-inch mark, right? Like kind of give or take, obviously a little bit. It's never exact. And this is always why we say don't trust the sizes that Bandai gives you, because Bandai never gives the exact size because they like exclude the hair or exclude the base sometimes. It's kind of weird. The only thing to give you perspective, I'm going to bring in this guy right here. Let me move Goku out of the way. This guy I'm not going to use for any pictures, and please excuse the terrible amount of dust on the base. But this is the Dragon Ball Legends Goku Black collab figure. Now, this guy is maybe a little bit on the bigger side when it comes to prize figures, but I just wanted to put it into perspective for you, the thing that I was talking about with the size, right? Obviously, when it comes to the prices of prize figures, over the years, they have gone up a little bit, right? So this guy came out and he was $20. These guys obviously came out when the price of prize figures was $27, but these are technically, if you were to equate it to like, you know, the change in the price, these guys would be the same price. This just doesn't feel like a fair price discrepancy, or it doesn't feel like a fair price equal, I guess would maybe be the better way to put it, right? It feels like a big price discrepancy. Even though these figures are good, I think it's just the size and the price that kind of holds them back for me. Now, I do want to bring out two figures to compare for you. Obviously, figures from the same line, right, are what we want to be showing you here. So, we are going to be grabbing the DXF Piccolo and the DXF Gohan, right? Now, these two figures, again, are from the exact same line as this superhero Trunks and Goten. And these guys all pair up really, really well together. I have to say, I think they all actually look really, really nice together on the shelf. It is interesting to see because even looking at the quality, I think especially of Piccolo compared to Trunks and Goten, it seems that this line really only got better over time, right? The paint apps, the shading, right? Even just the look of the face, I would say all of it is really, really good for all of them. But I think it's clear to see that the newer ones, the Trunks and Goten, definitely have an edge, at least in the paint app department, right? Especially if you look at Piccolo's arms compared to just like, you know, the zipper on Trunks' jacket, which would be something they could easily mess up, right? Definitely, I would say that these guys are really, really good as a full collection. And I don't even have the full collection of figures on screen right now. You can see, right, obviously, all the figures that are in this superhero DXF line. I would like to get them all at some point just so I could kind of have the full collection. But since I'm collecting some of these other forms from the movie as different figures from different lines, I wanted to make sure that I had these guys at least because I thought that they would all pair up really well together. The other interesting thing, right, I think they all compare pretty well for the size, but I think the most interesting thing about this is the base, right? You can see that the base for Goten and Trunks is a circle, while the base for the I almost said Goten again, for the Piccolo and Gohan, right, is obviously a oval. So maybe they just realized, they were like, hey, you know, it makes more sense for it to be a circle because the figure doesn't need to take up that much space on the shelf. Like, Piccolo has a little bit more of a wide spread to his legs, but obviously Gohan definitely could have just fit on the circle stand like these guys have. So let me know what you think of these guys in the comment section below. I would definitely be very curious to hear what you guys have to say. I would honestly highly recommend these figures if you're a fan of Trunks and Goten, or if you're just a fan of superhero in general. These are some awesome pickups, and currently, at least as far as I'm aware, these are the only Trunks and Goten figures with this look. I'm sure as we get more Dragon Ball when it comes to the anime, right, we'll probably get more when they get more screen time. But for now, this is what we got, and honestly, I think this is a pretty good showing of these characters. And if you would like to pick these guys up, you can go to the links in the description on Amazon. I will get a little bit of an extra cut with no extra cost to you if you pick up the figures from there. So thank you for that if you do. And of course, right, keep in mind the price. It should be around that $26.99 range. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy. And I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.